Hi, this is Emrys with Dream Real Daily, and I'm talking with Dean Price from New Earth Events. How you doing today, Dean?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. I love making videos, and I'm helping you make a video right now, so I'm happy. Uh,
Cool.
so so can you tell us about kind of how you got into New Earth Events in the first place? I know you were doing your astrology at other people's events for many years and kind of figuring out how to do that, and then you started putting on events and helping other people do the same. So tell us how that all came about.
Well, I started doing astrology uh, many decades ago after I graduated from college, um, and I spent a couple of years just learning astrology, and then I started to do small events. I had a booth um, at, like, for example, Saturday Market in Eugene, Oregon. I had a booth there in the 90s. Um, we had a store in Eugene called the Raven where there were a number of practitioners, massage therapists, Reiki masters. I was doing astrology and polarity therapy. So I was doing it in like stores and shops and events like the Saturday Market. And I decided to go on the road. And so I started having a booth in other people's events um, all over California. I was traveling. I was in events like the whole Life Expo in LA and in San Francisco. So I was just doing astrology and sometimes by telephone or sometimes in an event.
Yeah, and you
Um,
had what was it that would attract people to your booth? New customers. How were you getting those people to come up and start talking to you and then sell them readings or whatever? So how did that process kind of work? How did you get people to come to your booth, and then how did you get them to buy anything?
well, I offered everybody a free astrology chart. So I had, you know, a background of myself. Um, well, I had a background like an astrology tapestry, but I had a sign in there that said free astrology chart. And that worked really, really great. And we had at some of the shows, the astrology chart was being used as a way to get people to come to the show. For example, newspaper ads that had a little coupon that said, bring this ad for a free astrology chart. And that worked really well, I remember.
So that was your
Um,
newspaper ads was your primary way of when you started putting on your own expos. That's how you were getting people to come, right? That was packing the exhibit halls, right? At a certain
well,
point.
yeah, we had newspaper ads. We had postcards that we sent out. This was before email. I mean, this was so many, many decades ago. And it was all newspaper ads and postcards. And they all said, bring this ad or bring this card for a free astrology chart. And so people would line up and come in, they'd get their free astrology chart, they'd maybe get a reading from me, they'd get readings from other practitioners or healings and things like that, or buy jewelry, gems and crystals and things like that.
And was there anything that made certain practitioners or exhibitors do better than others at these expos that you were putting on?
Well, there'd probably be many factors um, who did well. Um, the headspace they were in was a big factor, whether they were in a positive space. I remember one person who was busy all the time, and I asked her, "How come you're so busy compared to everybody else?" And she said, "Well, after I get my booth ready every day, I spend 15 minutes to a half hour meditating and visualizing all the local people that could benefit from a reading from me. I send my angels out into the town and sort of gather them all together. And she was doing angel readings, so that made sense for her. And then she'd be busy all day long from the, um, the work she did on setting her mind to success in the morning that day. And then other things that would affect it would be the look of the booth, how you dress, um, the signs that you had, that it's clear what you're offering. And some of them that would be more successful would do something like me and offer them something like I offered them a free chart. And that really helped get the people in.
So when and why did you stop placing newspaper ads?
Well, the world changed. We started sending emails, and I remember that when email first appeared, it wasn't really a big way to get people there, and we had a mailing list of physical addresses, but we had started from scratch with gathering email addresses. This was more than 20 years ago, and over the course of the last 2 decades, I've gathered more than 25,000 email addresses. So that became one of the main ways to get people there. And we started to notice the percentages of people. We would always ask them how you heard about it, and the number that came from a postcard or a newspaper ad every year was kind of going down in terms of the percentage, whereas email was going up, and then social media became a thing, and so Facebook became a big way that people heard about the events and other social media.
And then what happened last year with your live events? Can you tell us about that?
I put on my last live expo on March 1st in Sacramento, and it was actually one of the busiest events in years. It was jam packed, wall to wall people. And
Why is that? How did that happen?
well, it was these new ways of promoting were really working. For example, Facebook banners, plus you can put money on those banners. I think we put about $600 of boosting of the ads, and it was just jammed with people. It's kind of like the old days, when you might get 1,000 people in the room for an event with 40 exhibitors. That would be very, very busy. And it was starting to happen again. Except then they locked the state down in about this week, a year ago. And so that was the end of that.
So what did you do when that happened? How did you continue on? I mean, that was your whole business. So what have you been doing for the last year?
Well, I've reinvented myself doing astrology again, except that it's different now. Um, so we're using like social media, emails, also online events, webinars, online expos. So what really works well for me is to show up online in some way, give a talk, send an email out about it, put it on social media, get people there, give a talk on astrology or healing or sacred geometry, some of the areas that I'm knowledgeable in. And then I do a similar thing as I do in the expo. I offer them a free 15-minute reading, and then many of them upgrade to a paid reading that's longer, offering a lot of discounts during this lockdown we've been having. And that's really worked. I've reinvented myself
So can you
as an astrologer again.
can you show us what you're talking about and talk about how it's working and what is working, what's worked the best.
When you say show you, what are you referring to?
Can you show us your new online astrology? I mean, what do you call it? A booth, an offer, a landing page? What is it?
Okay. So now I have an online. I'll just show you uh, what it looks like. Um, let's just find it here. Oh, here we go. Um, well, like right now, I have I'm in Sedona at the moment, so I have myself listed on a calendar. This calendar is called Visit Sedona. And so I have a Sedona Vortex experience, and it tells people I'm an astrologer and healer, um, and mentions some of my credentials. If you click on it, you go to a page, and this, so I list myself on calendars,
And
and
is that working for you?
yeah, it works great. So I'm listing myself. This is today, um, doing vortex experiences every weekend in Sedona. And then if they're interested, they go to my website. And on my website, they can watch a video where I tell a little bit of my story about how I became an astrologer, similar to what I just did. Um, there's a picture taken of me in Sedona, uh, I don't know, a few years back, or the last time I came here. And then I've got a couple different offers on there. I've got the free 15 minutes reading. If they click on that, they can schedule me um, in. They can watch a video again. That's the same video. But if they want a free 15-minute, let's say they want it tomorrow at 10 a.m., they click there, fill out their name, their email, and because I'm an astrologer, I need their birthday, time, and place. I've got a few testimonials here, and that helps to establish my credibility. And they
And
make an appointment with me for that free 15 minutes.
and how many people have booked the free session, and how many of them have become paying clients recently, and how did that all work? How did you make that happen?
So every time I send out an email with my offer in it, which is this free 15 minutes, um, I usually get 40 or 50 people to take me up on it. Um, if I just send out an email that has the offer in it, we did a, a holiday special in December where we gifted everybody with several things, including my free 15 minutes. And that got me about 50 people who booked the session for free. And then I would say a third of them upgraded to a longer session where I also offered them a discount for the holidays. And so that got me several paying clients. And then I did an online expo a month or so ago. It was called the Higher Self Expo. Um, and here I'll just, because this is a good idea to be in an online expo. So that's just a speaker application. And this is they're doing another one. So it just has the future one, but the previous version of this had me in it giving a 45-minute talk on sacred geometry and the chakras. And so I talked about that. And that got me another 40 or 50 free sessions. And and many of those people became paying clients, at least a third of them. And some of them got 1 hour long session or half-hour session. Um, Many of them uh, booked one of the options, which is a monthly session. So they've become like regular clients that I talk to once a month.
Okay,
And
great. So maybe you could stop sharing your screen now and we could just talk about it a little bit more. So so you're getting online sessions and you're getting people to buy tickets to a live experience that you're doing locally. And this is this working as well as doing expos was or better? Like what how well do you think it's working for you?
well, I actually think it it works better in many ways than a live event. In that a live event, you have to drive there, you have to get a booth ready, you may have to buy a sign, you may have to hire somebody to help you, you may have to buy things to put on your table, like a tablecloth and some flowers, and you have to drive there. It may be a 2 or 3 day process, and your booth might cost you two, three, $400, whatever. Depends on the show. Some booths cost thousands of dollars, and um, and some people can make a good living doing that. Other people maybe break even, or some people might spend more on putting all of that together than the return they get out of it. Although I love getting together with people and it's really fun, and I do plan to do them, but it's kind of going to be in the context of the online events. So there are online events all the time where somebody, like a person can book a session with me. I just got off of a Zoom with somebody who had a monthly session with me. So I talk to them every 30 days or so. Um, and then when, they may come to Sedona sometime and do a live event with me where we hike into the vortexes, either just me or a group of practitioners, which we'll be doing here maybe once a month, a whole group. Or they may come to an event in California if that's where they live. Um, and so it'll be a combination where they can book a session anytime, and they are already doing that now. And some people are coming to my live events in the vortexes. So they'll, after they have that experience, they'll be able to have another session with me online when they go back home to New York, or that's where some people are coming from this week. Um, so it's going to be a combination where there's kind of a showcase that's going on live from time to time, depending on where you live. Here in Sedona, it's legal to have events with 50 people. Right now, California is limited to 3 families for 2 hours. So you can probably soon start having small events in people's homes or in a park or in a yard or something like that. And then gradually, as different places open up, we may be able to have a large event in a hotel or people's private land or whatever. So it'll be a combination.
So do you think that what you're doing could work for other people who would like to get more customers?
Absolutely. We've kind of developed a template for doing it. It consists of maybe giving a talk somewhere online or in person, if that's possible, where you know it is possible in some places like here. Um, and then from there, they can do an online experience, but anybody can do it online. I mean, I do readings online that can be done by phone. You know, there's no reason why it wouldn't work for somebody else as well as it works for me. It helps if they can give a free talk and have some knowledge or some something of value to share with people. That is usually a free experience, a free lecture, workshop, etc. And then if they are a practitioner, and then can offer them a special deal on either an online event or a live event, there's no reason why it couldn't work for somebody else. It helps to make videos like the one we're making right now, where people can get to know you a little bit. It helps to have a little bit of private time where they can get to know you a little bit. And then people are usually ready to book a session. And so we link these videos to a calendar where someone can make an appointment. And it's really pretty simple. It's pretty universal. It's like, for example, whatever video you're watching right now is linked to an offer of some sort, which all they need is a video, an offer, a calendar, a Zoom, or whatever works for their business. And we've got many people creating these things right now very successfully.
So how would I go about getting started if I wanted to exhibit in your online events, or if I wanted to do live events, if I wanted to have a booking calendar and be promote it myself or get some help promoting it, or if I wanted to do some little live experiences like you're doing in my town, what would be how do I get started?
Okay, so we have a calendar below where you could have, conversation with me privately, and we could talk about your various options. There are some software tools that will be helpful. So, for example, to be able to build a landing page to embed your video into and to hook to a calendar, etc. There's some software that we recommend that's very affordable. And so there's links that you can click on and get started on that. We're here to help you get started on that. We do a lot of free consulting on what combination of software and other marketing tools will work best for your business. And we have a lot of tutorials to teach you how to use them and develop them. And then we have people like Emrys and some other people who are available to hire to coach you through more of it, or to help you with customizing the template to suit your business. So we have, all the resources available. A lot of it is free. A lot of people can do this themselves without spending a lot of money, other than getting some software to build everything with. I myself switched from, I was paying about $600 a month for software for building websites, plus bulk emailing, because I have 25,000 emails on my list. I was spending $300 a month on MailChimp and a couple $100 a month on ClickFunnels. I had ShareTribe, I had Mighty Networks. I had about $600 a month worth of software bills. And the stuff that we're primarily recommending for this, the amount of money I was spending every month on software, I now have that for a whole year for $600. In other words, for $50 to $70 a month, you can get all the software you need to build a very effective full-time business. So that's what I recommend.
Okay, great. So anything else besides giving you a call or booking an appointment below? Anything else we should mention?
Well, yeah, if you're interested in being in the online expo, that's a full-time ongoing thing. I get people booking sessions with me that I can do over Zoom. all the time. And then we're starting to put on live group events once a month here in Sedona, where legally we can have 50 people in an event. We're asking people who would like to put on events at their home or business or on their property. So, for example, those who have been to our events at Gail Thackeray's house, just north of LA, those are people can start signing up to be hosts of events. And then if you're an exhibitor and would like to present, speak, exhibit at those live events, as the different areas to start producing live events to complement the online events that we're doing as well.
Okay, great. Well,